This is a demonstration of how to unbrick and reflash your phone. To do this, you will need three things: the Flash Tools program, a working copy of your flash file before anything went wrong with it. You have to know for a fact that it worked. This was just a backup of my phone that I made just now, and a hex editing program. I'm using Hex Workshop. Alright. The first step is to reflash your phone with the firmware that you know works. First thing you do is click on Scatter Loading over here, and then you click on scat.txt over here, and download agent, MTK all-in-one. Over here, you click on it once, and it brings you up to an open window, and you choose the program, the .bin file that you want to flash back onto the phone. The scat.txt that you chose before under scatter loading is a file that comes with the Flash Tools program. It's right over there, and it's basically that with all zeros. It's basically telling it to start reflashing the phone at the beginning. That's all it is. Next, you click download, and you hold down the end button on the phone after it's connected to the computer, obviously, and the red bar goes across just like in the previous video, and it is now beginning to download the firmware onto the phone. It will take about 25 minutes to half an hour, just like the original step of getting the original copy off your phone to begin with. It has just finished uploading my firmware back onto my phone. Now, if you were to try and turn your phone on at this point, chances are it's not going to turn on. There's still another step to do. I would still check to see if it turns on first, though, because one of the other phones I worked with in the past turned on already at this point. I'm not really sure why that is, but it's worth checking. The next step to get the phone working again is to read back what's on the phone now back onto the computer again, the same way that I did on the original video that I previously made. You name it. Make sure it's named .bin. Make sure there's a 1 over here and all the rest is zeros. Read back. There we go. Sometimes it gives me a little trouble connecting. All you have to do is pull out the battery from the phone and plop it back in again and try it again. I'm not sure. I think this program is just not the greatest, but as you can see, it's downloading the firmware right now. And again, 25 minutes. Now that it's finished my download, I exit Flash Tools and I go into Hex Workshop. In Hex Workshop, you click on Tools, Compare Files, and you have to make sure you choose Resynchronize and Compare over here. And then over here you click these, they open an open window, and you choose the two files you're comparing. You're going to be comparing the file you originally flashed onto your phone on the first step, and the file you just read back off of your phone. Then you click OK. It'll split the window like this. And down here, you get a printout of the differences between the two files. You click on where it says Replaced, and it highlights in red the sections that are different between the two files. Now what you do is you go back down here, and where it says Target under Replaced, you write down that hex address on a piece of paper or a notepad or wherever you feel comfortable writing it. Next step is to go to the bin file of the firmware that works. For me, that's this one on top. What you do is you select the section that's highlighted in red, which is the difference between the two files, edit, copy, and you go File, New. Once you're in the new document, you go Edit, Paste, and it will paste what we copied before into it. And then you save it, and you name it whatever you want to name it over here, and just make sure you remember to write .bin at the end again. Now you exit Hex Workshop, and you have to open up the scat.txt file that we were talking about before. Now you have to change these zeros to the number that we wrote down before. 3, 8. And you hit File, Save As, name it scat.fix is what I use. Save it as scat.fix. Yes. Then you go back into Flash Tools, Scatter Loading, choose the scat file that we just made, scat.fix, and click over here and choose the bin file that we just saved from Hex Workshop. And then you click Download, and there it is. That's all there is to it. Now the phone should turn on regularly. Let's try out the phone. There you go. The phone is unbricked and working properly.